Hi there, you're with English Coach today, and I'm going to talk to you about rising above mediocrity. That means going above what is normal. So, first of all, let's get into it by talking about what mediocrity is, in fact. And I would describe mediocre as that warm and fuzzy feeling of being in that group of very normal people. Mediocrity is about conformity and being like everybody else. Mediocrity has the quality of normalcy, the quality of being the same as everybody else. Mediocrity is to be inside the herd. Mediocrity is to not be unique. Mediocrity is to be popular and basic and superficial. The things that deep down we know have very little or no value. Isn't that interesting? Okay. The enemies of mediocrity are ambition, performance, creativity, tenacity, resilience, intellect, critical thinking, taking massive action, being incredibly consistent. These things destroy mediocrity and therefore are enemies of being mediocre. So often when we are mediocre and we come to a point where we have extra energy and we have extra power, we use it to sabotage ourselves and not get ahead. So the question here that we need to be asking is, well then, what is a unique person? What represents the values of a unique person? And what represents the values of a unique person? These things are non-conformity, being able to say no, being able to stand up for ourselves, being able to sacrifice a relationship when somebody is imposing or making demands on you to do less or do worse than you're capable of. It's like this: mediocre people follow or fake um, what they're doing in their lives. They follow other people and they fake doing things that are of quality or of value. Mediocre people take the easy road every single time, and that has some unforeseen consequences for them. The struggle into old age is one of dependency for a mediocre person. If you are the son or a daughter of a mediocre parent, mediocre mother or father, you need to pay for them. They didn't necessarily prepare you for life, and you still need to pay for them. You still need to support them in their old age because they're unable and have been unable to generate enough wealth or enough discipline to foresee what is going on in their old age. Okay, unique people will definitely make their own road. They will build it so that others can follow in their footsteps, which for mediocre people appears as arrogance. And for other people who are interested in performance and being unique, it's a way for them to climb up by following those great examples. So the state of mediocrity is a mindset, okay? It's not just a habit or a way of being over time. It's a mindset that consolidates a mediocre life with mediocre values and mediocre results. Mediocre people don't take responsibility and therefore they lose all power. They lose the power in their life to make decisions because everything becomes the government's fault, or everything becomes their neighbor's fault, or their brother's fault, or their father and mother's fault, and they do not take responsibility for their own life. Therefore, they cannot be blamed for their lack of results and their excess of failure. Unique people analyze their mistakes and learn from their mistakes. They look at what they did wrong. They look at their habits, their attitudes, and their behavior, and they reflect on those things, and they see how to adapt or how to change certain aspects of their behavior and their habits so that they're able to grow from that and to be able to perform at higher levels. So whenever life comes at them and attacks them in some way, they are ready to adapt to a new set of circumstances and will not be resisting and end up losing. Remember that this life we have on earth, it is a constant evolution. It means the more evolved we are, the more we can adapt to the next big crisis. And let's face it, crises on planet Earth are absolutely imminent. They're inevitable. There's no way to get past the crisis. So if you're mediocre, you're basically saying, oh, if the crisis hits, it's going to be over for me. And that's okay. But it does create a nice, or not nice, maybe that's a little sarcastic to say, but a nice little victimhood mentality, which can only generate bad things and negative things in your life. So say, what is the point of being unique over mediocre when mediocrity is all about taking the easy way and not taking responsibility, which sounds great, and being unique means developing values, developing a life philosophy, and taking responsibility for everything going on in your life. It's all on you. You need to change it. You need to adapt. That sounds very hard. But in the end, the person who suffers less is the unique person because they're prepared. They don't have any false expectations about life. They don't see ideals. They don't see some kind of hidden utopia, that there's a wall between them and this hidden utopia. They know that life is hard. They know that there are struggles, but they get off their ass and they be unique about it. They don't continue to focus themselves on things that they cannot change. They did not write, they do not keep this kind of attitude that other people are responsible for their happiness and success. There's only one person responsible for your happiness and success, and that is you. You tell me success is not everything until you come to my doorstep knocking and saying, oh, there was a crisis and now we have no money and I need to look after my babies, or my uncle or my aunt or my grandmother's dying. Of course, that's a sad story and we all should feel a little bit sorry for people like that. But a person who worships mediocrity and a person who worships doing the minimum and not working on themselves is going in that direction. It's inevitable. They will reach that. And someone unique who's interested in learning, who looks at their habits, who looks at their behaviors, reflects, and then readjusts, is always giving themselves preparation for the future and positioning themselves for an abundant and prosperous life. So if you believe that it's amazing, that it's okay to be mediocre and that success isn't everything, give this video a dislike and tell me all about how it's someone else's problem, that it's the government's problem, that you're having a bad life. Tell us about that. And for those of you who believe that mediocrity is like a disease, give this video a thumbs up, because mediocrity is like a disease, and maybe it's worse than a disease because it's the platform in which a lot of other diseases can happen. Mediocrity is the breeding ground for laziness, is the breeding ground for apathy, all of these negative things. Being unique is about being optimistic, is about believing in yourself and taking action every now and then to make sure that you are living your word, Mediocrity is about saying a lot of lovely things on social media and committing to zero, to zilch. And then when it doesn't pan out, blame the government, blame your mum, blame your father, that kind of thing. So balance it up here. Are you this mediocre person, Captain Mediocre, or are you this kind of person who is aiming at always improving yourself? It needs to be better than yesterday. I need to have a feeling that I'm growing something in myself, that I'm going somewhere in my life. Make a comment below if you need to, either positive or negative. I will definitely enjoy reading it either way. And I'll be back here on English Coach to talk to you maybe next week about the next concept. Thanks a lot.